Drop the knife. Drop it.
LMPD releases body cam video of a fatal police shooting just hours after it happened. What you can see, what Louisville's police chief is questioning, and how the family of the victim is reacting to it all.
He ain't supposed to go away from me like that.
The mysterious disappearance of a local couple feared murdered is partly solved tonight, who police say they found.
We've got some midweek rain. Temperatures move above 90 degrees, and I think we could see rain that's heavy at times, including the weekend. When to expect that rain and how much next. Little Goose Creek causing big problems, why JCPS is having to scramble to find solutions.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Lindsay Allen.
And I'm David Scott. LMPD just released this body cam video. In it, officers shoot and kill a man who they say was armed and came after them.
We will break down that footage further shortly, but first, WDRB's Carl Mann begins our team coverage tonight with what police are saying about this violent confrontation. Carl?
Yeah, we want to warn you right away about what you're going to see and hear. Viewer discretion is advised. And even before this body cam footage was released to the media, Police Chief Steve Conrad called it very graphic.
Drop it. Drop it. Drop it.
Police released two different views of the shooting, captured on two different body cameras worn by officers. What you're seeing took place just after 1:30 Monday morning. These three LMPD officers are called out to a domestic dispute at this apartment complex on Broadleaf Drive.
Drop the knife. Drop it.
LMPD officials said that Officer Bo Gattagard and Officer Tyler Banks, shown here, shoot several shots, hitting the black male suspect in his 50s multiple times. Officers on scene said that the man came out of the apartment armed with a knife and a second weapon, what they described as a large, curved, bladed object. In the video, you can see what appears to be some sort of saw lying next to the suspect.
Do not move. Don't move.
Within hours, you still don't know exactly what happened until you've done a thorough and complete investigation.
In a news conference Monday afternoon, officials confirmed the suspect died at the scene. Officers called for an ambulance but did not perform basic first aid.
No, we can't do anything, okay? We just have to leave everything how it is, okay? I'm sorry, okay?
While our officers are trained to provide aid in most situations, as I stated earlier, every situation is unique.
Banks and Gattagard are now on administrative leave, which is standard procedure. Officer Brian Smith is being treated as a witness because he did not use his gun. And we can tell you that the coroner is not releasing the name of the man that was shot and killed. However, his family is coming forward to make his identity public. Joining me now, my colleague Josh Breslow. And Josh, I understand that you spoke to a man who says that he's the brother of the man that was shot and killed.
Yeah, this is the brother, and he tells me what he really wants to see is no riots or additional violence as LMPD works its investigation.
I want to know what happened, why, and, what's the reason for this,
Left with so many questions, Joe Brown mourns the death of his brother, Darnell Thomas. Brown describes the 57-year-old as a hard-working guy who had been honorably discharged from the Army and now ran a lawn service.
He ain't supposed to go away from me like that.
Speaking at Cole's place, Brown revealed his brother is the man shot and killed by LMPD officers early Monday morning. Brown says he's not sure whether the officers' actions were justified, but he hopes to find out soon.
They keep talking about this video. I don't even think I want to see the video. I just wish my brother was still here,
Despite the pain it causes for his family, Brown says it was the right move for LMPD to release body cam video, providing a record of how the deadly shooting played out. Alongside Brown, Brothers Helping Brothers and the West Louisville Urban Coalition want to watch the investigation closely.
When the police investigate themselves, it doesn't always have the right outcome at the end. So what we want to do is watch this step by step to see that this family gets justice.
But the one thing they want to get across, riots and violence are not the answer.
We don't need you to tear up the city or burn down the block or anything of that nature. All we want is justice for the Brown family.
We don't need rioting or nothing. We just need to take care of ourselves, each other. Stop this.
Friends and neighbors of the man killed say he was hard of hearing. They are not sure if that could have played a role in this deadly shooting. Live in downtown Louisville, Josh Breslow, WDRB News.
All right, thank you, Josh. And as we mentioned, the body cam video that police released shows the moments before, during, and after the shooting.
We want to show you a closer look at how all of this unfolded. And again, a warning, this video can be disturbing. This is the angle from the first officer's body cam. Police arrive on scene. Witnesses describe a man who is armed.
How you doing? What's going on?
He's in there with 2 knives and a saw. Yeah, my daughter
Two knives and a what?
He kicked my door in. He's in the house with a saw and butcher knife.
The witnesses talking to police continue to tell the officers the suspect has a saw or knife in his hand. And then this.
Drop it! Drop it!
The officer then asks the witnesses to step back.
Stay back, ladies. Stay back, ladies. Stay back, ladies. Stay back, hon. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come on. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come up next to my car.
As the officer moves back to stand by the suspect, you hear the suspect gasping for breath.
Hey, you got Sarge coming?
The officer heads back to the group of witnesses. One of the women asks the officer to turn off her car, which is running near the suspect. He does. Now a male witness arrives. He questions why police are not trying first aid.
You ain't gonna try no first aid or nothing, bro.
We got an ambulance on the way.
But the ambulance ain't her.
You hear another witness telling him what had just happened.
They told him to put it down, and then he started swinging it back and forth.
The officer puts up crime scene tape. More officers and EMTs arrive on scene. The officer says he never fired his gun.
We probably need to be independent right now. We need to be separated. Yeah, you will be notified. Well, we don't need to discuss it. We'll be introduced. I never squeeze one.
You see the officer put on hand sanitizer. You hear the officer tell another officer on scene his body cam was on.
I dig what you're saying. It's went from 0 to 60 fast, isn't it?
An LMPD detective arrives on scene and asks to talk to the officer. He tells the officer then to turn his body camera off.
Shut it off.
Now, another body camera was rolling during that confrontation. Coming up tonight at 11, we'll show you a closer look at the second perspective of this morning's shooting.
Drop the knife. Drop it.
A man gunned down by 2 LMPD officers. Right now at 11, Louisville's police chief on investigating those who use deadly force.
Our officers are allowed to use whatever force is reasonable to protect themselves from bodily harm.
The family left trying to understand why their loved one died.
I want to know what happened, why, and, what's the reason for this?
And the perspective a second body cam provides of the violent confrontation.
Hey guys, just go back inside, okay? Just go back inside.
I need to check on her and
Listen, just go inside. There's nobody in the corner. Go inside.
It's a view seen by very few. Newly released body cam video shows what happened before and after Louisville police officers shot and killed a man. Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight, everyone. I'm David Scott.
And I'm Lindsay Allen, in tonight for Adrian Flores. Investigators say the suspect came at them with 2 weapons. WDRB's Carl Mann is live tonight outside of LMPD headquarters with everything we know right now. Carl?
Yeah, and we want to warn you right away about what you're going to see. Viewer discretion is advised with this body cam footage. This all took place just after 1:30 this morning. 3 LMPD officers go out to a call of a domestic dispute. Now, this is just a portion of the body cam footage that was made public by LMPD this evening. LMPD officials said 2 of the 3 officers fired several shots, hitting the black male suspect in his 50s multiple times. Officers on scene said the man came out of the apartment armed with a knife and a second weapon that they described as a large, curved, bladed object. In a news conference this afternoon, officials confirmed the suspect died at the scene. Now, officers called for an ambulance but did not, and I repeat, did not perform basic first aid. Police Chief Steve Conrad says a formal investigation is now underway.
Essentially, I've got a question about the use of force, and that's something that we'll need to look at and understand when it was used and how it was used.
LMPD officials said Officer Bo Gattagard and Officer Taylor Banks are now on administrative leave, which that's standard procedure. Officer Brian Smith is being treated as a witness because he did not fire his gun. Now, the coroner is not releasing the name of the man that was shot and killed. However, the man's family is coming forward and going public with his identity. Joining me now, my colleague Josh Breslow. And Josh, I understand that you spoke to the brother of the man that was shot and killed.
That's right. The brother says he does want answers. What he doesn't want to see is more violence and riots.
I want to know what happened, why, and, what's the reason for this,
Joe Brown has identified the man shot and killed as his brother, Darnell Thomas. He says the 57-year-old was a hard worker who had been honorably discharged from the Army and now ran a lawn service. Brown says he's not sure whether the officer's actions were justified, but he hopes to find that out eventually. He also says LMPD made the right move releasing the body cam video, but he does not want to see it for himself. Brown and the West Louisville Urban Coalition are asking for no additional violence as the investigation plays out.
We don't need rioting or nothing. We just need to take care of ourselves, each other. Stop this.
We don't need you to tear up the city or burn down the block or anything of that nature. All we want is justice for the Brown family.
Neighbors and friends of the man shot say that he was hard of hearing. They're waiting to figure out if that could have played a role in this deadly shooting. Live in downtown Louisville, Josh Breslow, WDRB News.
All right, thank you, Josh. Now, 2 body cameras were rolling when officers responded to the call for help.
And WDRB's Travis Ragsdale shows us another perspective of this fatal encounter.
Well, we've already seen video from one officer who said he didn't fire his gun. This angle is from an officer who appears to fire multiple times. Around 30 seconds after the officer's camera starts rolling, he arrives at the scene.
Drop the knife! Drop it!
You can hear at least 2 officers telling the suspect to drop the knife. This officer fires several shots. You can see multiple shell casings discharging from his gun. Several seconds pass and then...
Do not move!
Officers then kick what appears to be a handsaw away from the suspect. Then he's cuffed. After about 30 seconds, this officer and another enter the apartment and begin clearing. The camera becomes blurry.
Clear here. Clear.
Those 2 officers then exit the apartment. At this point, one of the 3 officers says his body camera wasn't turned on.
Are you all right?
Yeah, my camera was on.
You good?
Yeah.
I'm on. I'm hot. You good?
You're good?
Yeah, I'm good.
A minute or so passes in which the officer puts on gloves. He then tells neighbors to go back inside.
Go inside.
I need to check on her in the corner.
Just go inside. There's nobody in the corner. Go inside.
The officer then begins interacting with witnesses, telling them to stay back.
We can't do anything, okay? We just have to leave everything how it is, okay? I'm sorry, okay? I will cut your lights off for you. Just give us some time, okay?
2 more minutes go by, around 7 minutes since the shooting now. Then this, as more officers arrive.
I don't think we're allowed to talk about it, dude. I don't know.
It's around 9 minutes after the shooting that EMTs arrive. This officer then explains what happened to another officer. The beeping you'll hear is from the body camera.
We came up, Brown was talking to the, victim. When we came up, Brian started to the door, me and Bo came up. We drew our guns because I guess Brian pulled his gun, so I'm guessing he said knife. He came outside with came out the door, was holding the knife in his hand. He started kind of swinging it around a little bit and kind of came at us, and so we shot.
The officer then puts on hand sanitizer.
It happened fast, man.
For the next 8 minutes or so, this officer doesn't say or do much of anything. A little over 20 minutes after the shooting, he turns the camera off. Now you hear that officer refer to Brian and Bo. That would be officers Brian Smith and Bo Gattagard. That would mean this footage came from the camera of Officer Taylor Banks.
Well, Travis, what about that third officer? Did his camera capture anything at all?
Well, in the video, you hear that officer say he didn't have his camera on. Officers have to manually turn those cameras on. He did turn it on, but not until that apartment was being cleared, so it did not actually show the shooting happening.
All right, thank you, Travis. Now you can watch from the other officer's perspective right now on our website, WDRB.com.
Again, the three officers involved in today's shooting were Taylor Banks, Ryan Smith, and Bo Gattagard. They are all assigned to LMPD's 2nd Division. Officer Smith has been on the force the longest, since March of 2008. Gattagard joined in June 2014, and Banks is the newest. He was hired by LMPD in June of last year. Officials say Banks and Gattagard were both fired their weapons. They have now been put on administrative leave, which is standard procedure. Smith will be treated as a witness.
Mayor Greg Fisher says today's shooting will impact many lives for many years. He tweeted shortly after LMPD's news conference this afternoon. He says anytime an officer uses deadly force and anytime one of our citizens loses their life in this way, it is a tragedy for all involved. Fisher goes on to say the video footage raises numerous questions. The investigation will answer those questions, and I ask the community to trust this process. There are still many unanswered questions tonight, and Chief Steve Conrad explained the department's official use of force policy, including when officers can draw their guns. You can watch that right now on our website, WDRB.com.